Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner, Classic as Known Classic. This episode 3075 and Doubleshot number 2969. This is the first of two straight comic corners I'm going to do, and then I'm going to work on... I left my ring party to join my former students. I'm going to do that one next, and then I'm basically going through all my new anime, get all done first, because I got 5 to do. After I get that done, I'm definitely going to start right afterwards. I'm the villainess, and I'm taking my boss. Okay, so these particular two trades have one thing in common. And what is that? They're both written by Christos Gage. Yep, he wrote the issue collecting both these two packs. First up we have is Rom and the Micronaunts. Yep, and this is a trade. This trade paperback contains the 5-issue miniseries of Rom Micronauts, along with Micronauts First Strike and Rom First Strike. Like I said, everything in here is written by Christos Gage. Yes, despite the fact that the Micronauts, I think it was Micronauts book. I think their brief ongoing was done by Cullen Bunn. Yes. Now, for the First Strike, probably both one-shots, we have Chris Panda Mercer, the miniseries Palavolita. So, they have it where the Micronauts one-shot lays into the ROM First Strike one-shot, and then eventually the ongoing, and then eventually the miniseries with a team-up. Yeah, it's like, I guess, I didn't feel this, hey, why not? Here's the tagline of this one. All new Hasbro team event featuring your favorite Soul Star Knight. That's basically what they call ROM in the IWs. And a Titanies Heroes Round. Baron Korza and Jurg the Dire Wars Dire Wraith Sorcerer have joined forces to carry out their equally magnificent goal. Korza desires to conquer all microspace again. While the Wraiths seek to awaken their Wraith God and conquer Earth. Now it's up to Raw and Micronauts to form their own alliance in order to stop the evil dominion of two worlds. Gotta admit, that's actually a really cool premise. The cover itself reminds me a lot of a old school 80s movie poster. Yep. Also, I should point out, though, this is not the Marvel design for ROM. Now, I have reviewed for ROM under IDW. I reviewed his very brief ongoing series, which collected in trade paperback, which was ROM Cold War. There is ROM and Transformers Shining Armor. And you get this book. Yeah, that's a weird thing about ROM and his time at IDW. He didn't get a lot of stuff for him. He had that really ongoing series with Christos Gage. This miniseries, Shining Armor. He had a one-shot for Revolution. One shot for First Strike, obviously. Of course, he's featured in the Micronauts First Strike one-shot. And he was featured in the Revolution miniseries. And he featured First Strike. I think he featured Revolutionaries as well. And you might think, wow, that's a pretty good amount. Yes. But here's the weird thing. After this miniseries wrapped up, and after he had the team miniseries with Shining Armor, which was the team with Transformers, ROM did nothing. No, seriously, nothing. I'll get more of that. So, we start with the Micronauts. By the way, also, it's featured in the land books that apparently, like, this one here, I think his name's Arir, I think his name is. He, like ROM, is basically Keystone Armor. So, he can exactly. Plus, he's got a very decayed face. They really live later. So, basically, the Micronauts apparently go back to microspace. You have Arir basically talking to Space Glider, which he knows that she's got a thing for him, but he can't reciprocate because basically his face. And they have this weird bug stuff because this feels like definitely standard Micronaut stuff. So, yeah, the thing ROM features the cover, he's actually not in the miniseries. All about the Micronauts. Oh, yeah, okay, so he isn't in this one. So, yeah, First Strike, in case you know what it is, it's basically the villains of the Hasbro line teaming up to attack Cybertron during a peace envoy. During a special mission on Cybertron, because Revolution was basically unit this thing, and First Strike was basically the follow-up to it. And then IDW decided to include this whole thing with Unicron. Yeah. And then, of course, basically, like, Rob thinks that the Micronauts see that your reception has failed, so you must die. Yep. And then we go on to the Rom First Night one-shot, where it's all focused on him. Eventually, he's able to reluctantly work with them. Then we see two people I think associated with the Micronauts. One is a woman who doesn't like her look. Yeah, I don't know who these two people are. And they're at like a... So eventually, during the course of the fight between Rom and Micronauts, like, he gets shrunk. Yep, he gets shrunk. And that leads into the Rom Micronauts miniseries. And then they reference the first issue, the events of Revolution, which it's an excellent crossover. I do recommend checking it out. And of course, Baron Course is manipulating Rom into fighting the Micronauts because why not? Yeah. And they're basically fighting each other. And then, of course, Rom gets shrunk and eventually he does get shrunk and basically dumped into microspace. Yep. Oh yeah, and here's what I'll talk about here. I think this is issue number 2, I think this is, right? Issue 1 or 2. I think it's issue 1. It is issue 2. Where basically... Where she's obviously got a thing for him, but it's like she wants to kiss somebody, and then we feel it's like, oh gosh, what the heck? Yeah, he's got nothing much of a face. And Rom was like, yeah, I can understand how you feel. And he shows off his face, which... So that... I read the original comic. He never did that in the main comic until the last issue, where he took off his helmet, because he was stuck in the suit the whole book. He never had the ability to do this. This is completely new. Shows the fact that, with that, this proves this is not the one from Marvel comic. This is the original. It's like, this is inspired by that verse. This is an ultimate version of Rom. Yes. So, lots of good action here in this one. By the end, basically, Rom and Micronauts do get separated, and basically Micronauts go back to microspace. And Rom goes back to normal size. And sadly put that at the end of both groups, both characters. Because what happened after this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because the Hasbro line didn't do too well with IDW. Despite the fact these books were really good, by the way. Yes, I give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. But it's like, what was the point of basically bringing in the Micronauts, Mask, Rom, Action Man, if I can do anything? Action Man had the shortest book of the entire line. His lasted for 5 issues and had a Revolution one-shot. Excuse me. And I was taking more cues from the original version of Action Man than the CGI one I saw when I was a kid. But Rom, it's nice the fact that we gave Rom something. But what's been happening with Rom since this book wrapped up? Well, he and Micronauts are back at Marvel. Kind of. It was announced last year that Marvel Comics got the license to publish reprints of the Marvel line for both Rom and Micronauts. So we got omnibuses for both of them, which, that's cool. The fact that this has happened because, well... One thing I hope Marvel does with basically shares, basically any revenue they get from these omnibuses, send something to Bill Mantlo, because he needs to pay his medical bills. But Writing wise, I think that Chris Cage did an excellent job writing ROM. It's just that it's different from the classic Marvel. I kind of wish they'd bring back ROM and main Marvel continuity. I mean, they're either basically publish him now, but mostly just reprinting the classic line. One thing I think I did see this that this is very interesting. So not only are we getting omnibuses for ROM and Micronauts and Marvel Comics, we're also getting the ROM in the Epic Collection. Yep, we're getting that. Hasn't been released yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. But do I think that these two franchises should be integrated back to the Marvel Comic Universe line? Yes, I definitely think they would. Micronauts probably more than ROM, because if you finish the ROM book, basically his story is over in the Marvel Comic Universe. Like, you can bring back the Dire Wraiths. I mean, they were featured, like, prior to IDW using them for their universe. Like, the last Dire Wraiths were featured was in the Annihilators, the two miniseries they had. The first one was the last time they ever featured any Dire Wraiths. Yeah. But we do have one more Christmas Cage book. That being Deadshot Bulletproff. This contains the second volume for Deadshot, which is only 4 issues. Actually, 5 issues, excuse me. And it also contains Batman The Lenz Dark Knight 214. So, in this miniseries, we have Deadshot. By the way, we have a new design for him. That's the design he has in the main miniseries itself. So, we have, by the way, the book, I think its story is called Urban Renewal. The artists of this book are Steve Cummings and Jim Palmiotti. I think Jimmy does the inking for this one. Superstition Carolee, that I think that's the Legends of Dark Knight final issue. Yeah, Legends of Dark Knight 214 was the final issue. I've discussed already. Some was just kind of, well, probably briefly discuss it. Phil Wildside does the artwork here. The original cover artist for the issues themselves is Mike Zeck, Jerry Ordway, and Phil Wildside. The compilation cover artist, probably the one we have the cover, that's Mike Zeck and Jerry Ordway. Deadshot co-created by Lou Sarah-Sorge. I don't know if that's true. I think, if I'm correct, I think Bill Finger got a chance here. So, we mostly have Deadshot, Killer Frost, and a couple of guys doing a job. And it has nothing to do with Suicide Squad. None. And can you believe this book was released in 2005? You're thinking, really? 2005. Yes, 2005 this book was released. Unlike the first volume, which had a reason to exist because basically it was written by John Oswald, who was writing Deadshot in the pages of Suicide Squad. This book, I'm not really sure what caused basically DC Comics to basically do this one. So the other characters are The Closer. Yes, there's a guy called The Closer. You think we have The Closer? Sounds like a TV show. It was. Yeah, he's here for about 3 of the 4 issues. He misses only issue 2. He's only in this miniseries. There's also Firebug. I think this actually was the 3rd Firebug. Yep, and he does return after this miniseries wraps up. Yep. After this miniseries wrapped up, he popped up in issue of Batman. He popped up in the face-to-face story. Which is like, well, basically a flashback, but oh, the whole thing of Firebug. Okay, so the original one, he first appeared back in issue 318 of Batman that was released in 1990. He was the lead wing character. There's also the second one was Harlan Combs. They say he was the 3rd Firebug. He was from Gotham Central. There's also 4th Firebug from Batman Orphans. Yes, a very brief miniseries. Have I read it? Actually, no, I've never actually read it, but it's written by Andy Berganza. Basically, the best way to describe Firebug, he is basically a ripoff of... He is just another artist villain who's similar to, of all people, Firefly. Yes. By the way, this is Luis Lincoln, the second Killer Frost. So, they take out the Red Rocket Brigade because I think they're in Russia. So, then of course, basically, Lawton gets chastised by the Closer, calling him an ass. You put the ass in his ass because the thing you left him behind. Crazy son of a... Like, they got paid. And then Firebug's like, you make hell of a father. And then Deadshot proceeds to pull a gun out, put a gun in Firebug's mouth. And then it's revealed, okay, so Deadshot previously had a son. Yes, Deadshot a kid. Prior to his miniseries. And here's something really sad. His son, Edward Lawton, was killed in the original miniseries. He was raped and murdered by a pedophile. Yeah. So, the referencing, of course, they think that, Deadshot has no kids. But we'll get back to that, don't worry. Yeah. So they bring up the fact that what happened with him. And then he gets a letter. And he gets a letter from a mysterious woman, who is not his wife. He gets a letter from a woman named Michelle Torres. Who is this woman, you might ask? She previously dated Deadshot. Apparently she described her as a hooker. And apparently, she gave birth to... She basically got pregnant at the being with him, and they had a girl. So yeah, Deadshot's the father once again, this time being of Zoe Lawton. Yeah. And the whole miniseries is basically... Now, here's the weird thing about this girl in this book. That Deadshot does not tell her at all that he is her father. He never does. In the main book. Like, he does know this girl is his daughter. He does know. He's not stupid. And at first he wanted to leave the area, but the mother says no. And by the way, they sleep together several times in the book, but they never officially get together. They never officially get together in the book. And of course, he's like, right here. What's her name? Better come in. Zoe, honey. Go with Sesame Street. Zoe. Nice name. Zoe. It's Greek for life. You Greek? Half Cuban, half Italian. Yep. Yeah, I thought it was a call girl. We even see her basically after they did it where Lot is drinking and she is just snorting cocaine. My guess is, and by the way, gives her money. So the whole book is basically Lawton just, well, cleaning up the area, making it nice to live for his daughter. Like, he may be a killer, but he basically, well, you can tell the fact he's a very caring person. So he didn't know who this girl is until 6 weeks prior to this story. And he basically learns about the area. It's a quite cool miniseries. That's one thing I really enjoy about this. And then halfway through this miniseries, like, he gets encountered by freaking Green Arrow. Probably a guest star spot for him out. And by the way, yes, Green Arrow did have an ongoing series book and published. Yes. if you're curious, who was writing the book at the time? I think it was Judd Winnick. Yes. I think it was in issue 3, I think it was. They had it pop up here. Yeah, it just feels like you read this book, like, it seems like a very random encounter, but Deadshot basically, well, he was part of the Suicide Squad, so they reluctantly worked together at one point. Green Arrow's pulling a shard of glass, and, like, it seems like he's about to bring him in, but they was like, no, he's doing nice things for us. And they chat for a while at this empty diner, named Cosmic Chili. Party, her friend Tamara. She'll be back soon. Wait, it's like, I'm from your mom. Listen, why don't you go back to bed? And of course, basically, sing her a song. Like, at least I got praise back. Christmas Cage writes him to be a very competent father. Because he does have experience because he did have a son, mind you. Yeah. And then, of course, they sleep together once again. And then, of course, he finds the closer. Would you read this miniseries like, oh, does he die? Well, and of course, basically, she treats him because, and of course, demolishes a building. Then he gets, they're like, oh, maybe Joe get a job as a security guard. Nope, not really. And of course, basically, he also works with a cop who he killed the guy's partner, but it turns out he's actually corrupt. So, then of course, we have more people show up toward the end of this miniseries. Yes, in the penultimate issue. So we have, aside from the closer, who apparently gets killed off this book, we also have cameos here by Deadline, Javelin, Cavalier, Morpheus, Pathfinder, Shriek, Sidewinder, and Sudden Death. Okay, so Deadline is a old enemy of the of one of the Starmen. It's Will Payton, so he's an old Starman villain. Javelin is basically a character who is enemy of Green Lantern, who's pop up in here. Cavalier, he is a Suicide Squad character. Yeah, he last appeared in Suicide Squad, mind you. Yeah, it's like, this was the first time he appeared since Suicide Squad 6, which was, at the time, the final issue of the book before it was brought back for Blackest Night. As for the other characters, Metamorphosis. He was also part of that group too, and then he gets killed off the very next issue. Pathfinder! Also from Suicide Squad, Shriek, who is a vampire. Yep. Sidewinder. Sudden Death. He's a character from Hawk and Dove. Well, third volume Hawk and Dove, mind you. At least he was an active character. So, let me point out these characters. So, okay, so that's Firebug. Deadline. Yeah, Deadline's right. That's this guy flying. That's Deadline. Let's see. Okay, you're about to think, who's Javelin? Javelin is this guy right here. And who are the rest? Kyber. Kyber is the guy with the gun. That's Kyber. What about the rest? Morpheus is... Yeah, he is the guy with the weird haircut. That's him. But what about the others? Pathfinder, Pathfinder is the guy with the black mask on him. That's Pathfinder right there. Okay, and there's also a character named Sudden Death, who I'm thinking that's Sudden Death right here, the guy in the corner. But somebody might be asking, Nick, who the heck is a snake lady in the middle? I believe that's Sidewinder. Yep, Sidewinder. Yep, that's who that is. That's Sidewinder right there. The snake lady, that's Sidewinder. But what about the guy with the blue skin? That is Shriek, who is a vampire. Yep, Crystal Cage basically brought back Task Force 2 for this one last issue. And then, like, oh yeah, let's have a lot of these characters get killed off all the very next issue. Yeah, how many deaths do we actually have in the final issue of this very mini-series? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 people get killed off. Pretty much the entirety of Task Force 2 all get killed off the very next issue. Because why not? And of course, Lawton sleeps with his girl again. And he suits up, kills to the Task Force 2 because he wants to. I think Lawton's dead, but not really. I like your calls. Don't even think about it. And then, of course, basically, they're like, what's new with you? Not a damn thing. What's the job? And the last issue is basically Lawton's low guest appearance with Batman. But pretty good mini-series. I enjoyed it. Yep. And, of course, Zoe Lawton herself will return after this in the pages of Secret 6. Yes. Deadshot's daughter returns in Secret 6 for a few of the opening issues of Volume 2. And that's lets you some of her pre-Flashpoint. It's like she was a late creation of DC. Yeah, it's like that's kind of basically what it was with her. Was that basically she was created very late in the game. And then, of course, they brought her back in the 5th volume of Suicide Squad. Yep. Yeah, she was a recurring character in Volume 5 and Volume 6 of the book. The volume which was done by Tom Taylor. Yep. Oh, by the way, Floyd Lawton currently in the comics is, well, he was dead. Until he got brought back in Task Force Z. Yeah, but so you might be thinking, did Floyd Lawton have a miniseries under the current continuity? I think he had one. Yeah, he had one. Because a lot of the time he's either guest starring or basically appearing in Suicide Squad stuff. That's kind of what he was doing for the past decade before being killed off. So, did he ever actually have a miniseries? He did. It was part of the Suicide Squad Most Wanted miniseries, yes. That was, I have reviewed that one. And that came out back in 2016, roughly about 9 years ago. So I've done 2 out of 3. Not bad. Not bad at all. Still got to review the... Oh yeah, he was also featured in Most Wanted, El Diablo and Amanda Waller. The original was El Diablo, Captain Boomerang. Yeah, this book was basically just called this because the first book was successful. That's why I did the second one. There was also the Black Files miniseries. Wait, I still didn't cover that one, but I still got more stuff to cover for Lawton. Definitely. But with that, basically, that's pretty much it to talk about here. Yep. So, by the way, I give Raw Micronauts, I give that a 9 out of 10. Deadshot, Bulletproff, a 10 out of 10. A 9 out of 10, excuse me. Yep, so that's pretty much a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and just like button. Next up, one more comment corner, and it's on to I Like My American Adventure Party. Okay, thanks you. Bye.